Welcome, everyone, to Nashville Superspeedway for the first race back in over 7 years. We are live from Nashville Superspeedway for the IndyCar World Championship. "30 cars take on this 1.3-mile concrete oval. As you see at the front of the field, behind the Camaro pace car, a return to a little bit of normality. Masakura Ishibashi, third career pole of the season. Elise Alexander alongside pole sitter from last week, looking for a better race here tonight alongside Ishibashi on the front row. Row 2, Kenosha and Kozlov ahead of Cameron Jackson and Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Valerie Fang started last week at Texas. Starting 7th tonight alongside Natalia Kurachenko. The Striker Motorsports car stepping up here through qualifying. Glover and Draco, row 10, ahead of Shinichi Kamaya and Mateus Michelin. The debuting Juliet Takani for Cherokee GP sits in row number 7 alongside Nicole Lechty. Natalia Velicevic in row 8 alongside her teammate Evangeline Porter. Esther Hobson and Thomas Rogers in row 9. Row 10, Simona LaRoe and Astrid Crane, with Keisha Fox and Rex Riley in row 11. Asada Quito and Bianca Lucero in row 12, ahead of Felicia Zappa and Wyatt Jones. Sakura Kunikita and Marcus Petrovic in row number 14. Row 15 is Kaka Kobayashi and Anastasius von Sonnen. 30 cars tonight to make up the action at the Nashville Superspeedway. Honda, Alpine, Chevrolet, and Toyota all in the top 10, looking to make their mark on this return. Kenosha enters as the defending world champion. Mateus Michelin walks in as the defending race winner from all the way back in 2015, the last time he raced here at this track. A lot has changed. What is not, it's a profile of this track. Races like an intermediate, feels like a short oval. Lower banking means that this will be pretty prime real estate for some track position battling as far as like pit strategy and everything goes on pit lane. It'll be pivotal to make sure you get that stuff correctly here tonight. It'll also be important to avoid any mishaps. Mechanical problems at the start of the race took several cars out of contention, including Kenosha, who went a lap down early and couldn't ever get that lap back. Can Kenosha avoid that melee again? Again, last week, a race forget for Cat Double Racing and for Panasonic Team Impulse. We'll see what happens tonight. If you're wondering, last week's race winner Maria D'Amata did not qualify for this race. D'Amata was last in pre-qualifying on Thursday night. So very interesting situations and scenes in the paddock this weekend. The road to the Indianapolis 500 runs through Tennessee, with Richmond, Virginia up next. Richmond Raceway coming up in a week's time. We're under the lights in Tennessee with the Command to Fire engines coming up. Still waiting for the Command to Fire engines here. Should be just moments away. Again, the Chevy Camaro pace car, the official pace car of the AT&T Champ Car World Series. We are in AT&T's backyard in Nashville, Tennessee. We get just outside of the Nashville metro area in the town of Lebanon. Pretty easy getting in and out of this track facility.
Drivers, start your engines!
There's the Command to Fire engines. And the formation lap will be underway. We'll roll out here. Again, you see the concrete oval. Tire grading will be at a premium tonight. It's about management, taking care of your tires the best way possible here this evening. It's Ishibashi and Alexander at the front of the field for tonight's race. Pace car pulls down pit lane. Around the tri-oval they go. Green flag is in the air and away we go. We're racing once again in Nashville. Top two sorted out quickly. Cat Devil Racing wanting to get to an early jump start in this race. "30 cars taking on 300 miles, 225 laps of the Nashville Superspeedway. A little bit further back, a checkup there. Cars in the outside lane. I believe that's Artem Kozlov. It is the 2 car. Checked up there, 3 wide behind as Felicia Zappa works the inside lane. Porter stuck to the outside, stuck to the middle. Michelin, race winner back in 2015 at this track, on the outside lane, 3 wide and 2 rows further back. Everyone trying to sort themselves out. Car in the wall. That is Lucero, driver who had a lot of conversations in the week between Texas and tonight. Three wide as they go through. And again, drivers on the outside lane running out of real estate quickly on this concrete oval. But everyone's sorting through early. Kenosha out front. There's Ishibashi battling Vulicevic here. Kovalkiewicz in the 96 battling Elise Alexander. Front row sluggish early, but everyone getting situated and sorted out. First race back in 7 years. It's like we didn't leave. A lot of drivers learning this track for the first time. Not many drivers left in the field that have been here at this track before. Wyatt Jones has been to this track in stock car equipment. Not so much in open wheel cars. This is a new experience for him. And he is sitting further back in the field right now. Again, a little bit of shell shock from Texas last week. Marcus Petrovich also trying to take it a little bit easy. Another car taking it easy. Rex Riley. Rachel Wojcik standing down after going fit side at Texas a week ago. Wojcik electing to focus on sports car responsibilities. They'll put Rex Riley in control of that 72 car for the rest of the season. And right now, Riley trying to work on getting through the field, being forced 3 wide. Von Sonnen outside. Petrovich to the inside lane. And Von Sonnen will lose out in that exchange. It looks like Riley's going to go side by side with Petrovich still at the back of the field here. Up at the front of the field, you can see, as we look from the front straightaway, teammates battling for the lead of this race. Fang and Kenosha. Taking on the concrete jungle here at Nashville. Kenosha will lose the spot to Fang. Cameron Jackson in third, sitting stationary at the moment. Then it's Kovalkiewicz, Ishibashi, and Vilisevic side by side. Moving through the field right now is Julia Takani. Debutante in this race, battling with Kurachenko and Alexander. And there's Artem Kozlov in the 3 car, that Airbus number 3. For good measure, there's, I believe that is the 6th. That is the 6th of BK Glover, who did not have a fun time in this race, or in the race to Texas a week ago. Glover's been pretty successful at this track, though, in his career. Been here 5 times. Average finish of 7th at this track. There's Keisha Fox. Her first time at this track. Same with Kamaya. Michelin sitting mid-pack, 15th place, spot on in the mid-pack, ahead of the 77 of Simona Leroux. Asada Quito in the 86 car in 16th. There is the 2 of Thomas Rogers. There's Nicole Lechty, not a great starting position for her. Now she's got to climb through the field. Same with Porter. There's Hobson. Felicia Zappa, Asher Crane. There's Andrew Draco taking it easy. He's only been to this track once, so this is his second appearance here in Nashville. Kunikita learned this track brand new. And then Carr's taking it a little bit easy. There's Kobayashi in the 42. Did not race Texas, did not qualify in. A blessing other than a curse based on how that race went. Petrovic right behind his teammate there. Then it's Wyatt Jones ahead of Rex Riley and Estadis Vansona, with Bianca Lachero scooping the wall early and now off the pace. Side by side, battle for third and a battle for fifth. As Jackson tries to make his way up into second place. "15 laps in, Kinoshita leads. But so far, a much tidier race so far than what we saw at Texas a week ago. Sakura Ishibashi dropping down another spot behind. That is the 84 of Kurachenko. Takani in the top 10 has gotten ahead of Kozlov and Alexander to get to the top 10 spots right now. Just behind, that is Glover in, I believe, the 11th spot. In 12th place is Fox. Michelin up to 13th, making up more spots there as cars drop backwards in this exchange. But the racing spreading out a little bit. Much more tidy and calm race than we saw a week ago, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered for a lot of these drivers as we browse and peruse through the field. Ishibashi in 7th place. The Pulsar once again not leading the opening lap. But for Kinoshita, for Fang, and now for Kovalkiewicz, easier going. Kovalkiewicz looking for a good run on return. Taken out of the race at Texas a week ago. Sitting in a decent spot right now. Vilisevic charging her way forward, though. For Atomic Autosport, up to 4th place. That 13 car started in 15th place, so Vilisevic already moving up 11 spots in the early going, in the first 20 laps of this race. Really big mover and shaker there ahead of Kurachenko, who started 8th, now sits in the 5th spot. And Julia Takani making her way forward as well. "21 laps in. These laps will tick by quickly if they keep holding at this pace. 190 miles an hour, the average race speed at the moment. And that will continue to go up across this first stanza. We'll pull up the track info at the top. We're following Artyom Kozlov. Last lap of the 25.0. They are running 190 miles an hour in the front straightaway, dropping down to 180, and then right back up 195, 196, almost 200 miles an hour entering turn 1. These are lightning quick times at the Nashville Superspeedway. But remember how quick these cars are going. That means tire wear is going to be at a premium. Managing that tire wear and that tire life will be pivotal. Cars spreading out here. You see some of the drivers that are spread away there. Wyatt Jones just now getting ahead of Von Sonnen. Petrovic and Kobayashi, teammates there side by side ahead of Rex Riley. And they're all still pulling away from Lucero. Beginning to hear complaints of understeer from some of the drivers dealing with a lot of the dirty air right now. It's not dirty air up front, and that's where the Cat Double racing cars want to be. Once you start dealing with dirty air, it's a lot easier. Takani battling another rookie there in Velicevic. Takani running a limited schedule, 5 races, including the doubleheader coming up at Chicago, will not be at the Indianapolis 500. The team electing to keep Takani away from the Speedway until her full rookie season begins next season. They anticipate having Takani in one of their cars in the next year. So they're just getting her valuable experience at some of the more difficult tracks. And so far, she's passing that test. The Atlantic Championship drivers have been very mixed in terms of their success. Velicevic doing well. D'Amata doing well, despite not being an Atlantic Championship driver. Lucero, the 2-time champion in the Atlantic Series, earning a lot of criticism across her first 2 starts, and today's race not doing much better, as she sits right now 30th and last after making an overzealous move and tagging the wall. And then you have drivers that are sort of in between. You look at Kamaya, you look at Akira Sato. They're really in the in-between right now. Right now, Takani showing a lot of good pace ahead of Velicevic. 2 solid rookies at the front of the field right now. And really, I'm impressed right now because Kovalkiewicz and Kurachenko are holding on to the Cat Double Racing duo at the front of the field. Typically, at a race like this, where handling and mechanics are so important, that mechanical grip is so vital, the Cat Double Racing cars in particular will walk away. But they're not. Kovalkiewicz doing a really good job of holding on. Takani has just made another pass to move into the top 4. So it's Honda 1-2, Alpine 3-4, Chevrolet 5th, another Alpine in 6th. Really good racing so far, a lot more calculated here. Really good run of form right now. At the front of the field, Kenosha leads after 31 laps as they go across start-finish line to start lap 32. Again, perusing through the field, Lucero off pace and really on her own. Wyatt Jones trying to get clear and get back and try to get some more positions. Wyatt Jones needing some really good spots here. Very disappointed by how Texas went. Now he's got some space and some real estate to try to make something happen. He is the oval expert in this group. 3-time NAMRA Cup Series champion. Sitting right now in the 24th spot. A couple seconds away from the 8 of Kamaya and the 9 of Felicia Zappa, but trying to gain in some of that time. There's the next group of 4 cars that are separated. Quito, Kunikita, Felicia Zappa, and Kamaya. Right now in this little 4-car group. Trying to chip away. Pit stops will really shake things up here. Andrew Draco struggling here. Complaining about the front tires degrading quickly. He's ahead of Asher Crane. Nursing a sprained ankle here tonight. The Red Bull Highlight Racing cars nowhere to be seen either. They are all well off the pace here as well. Nicole Lecty, the highest up to the 2, but still sitting only in 14th place. Not what that team wanted to see so far as they try to race their way forward. Sakura Ishibashi, pole sitter, has dropped out of the top 10. Running through the field right now. 38 laps already completed. This should be a quick race as things run as they are at the moment. Cat Devil Racing stay 1-2. But then it's a battle here further down the order. Battle between, that is Kovalkiewicz and Kurachenko, 3rd place. Kurachenko holds on to it at the moment. Oh, sorry, Kovalkiewicz holds on to it at the moment. Kurachenko in 4th ahead of Takani. It is spread out a little bit as these tires begin to degrade severely. First time these cars have been on concrete this year. There used to be a time where we used to visit tracks like Dover and Nashville all the time. Now it's more of a rarity. So a lot of drivers having to get used to this brand new surface that they've not driven on before, at least not in a long time for most. And for Firestone, it's a new challenge because they've not been here either in this track. Although concrete ages overall better than asphalt does, this track is still aging. It's in the Midwest. Here in Tennessee, these summers can get up to 100 degrees. While asphalt typically mostly just cracks and creates bumps, concrete begins to grain and crumble a little bit. It weathers a little bit differently. And that's very important in learning how this track will continue to not only to develop and age and weather in, but how this track will evolve during a race. You see through practice, you see all the rubber that's already on this track, especially in the corners. All the rubber that was rubbed in during practice and qualifying. You see how wide that lane is compared to what we typically see. You can really kind of run. You can run 2 full lines around here if trying to find some clean air and some grip. It's not a progressive bank to oval. So there is a limit to how far you can run. But right now, things doing well. 45 laps into this race. Kenosha has led most of the laps. Not every single lap, but most of them. Top 6 beginning to break away from BK Glover. Glover in 7th, having a decent race right now ahead of Cameron Jackson. Then Artyom Kozlov and Thomas Rogers. So all 3 of the Team Impulse cars in the top 10. as it stands at the moment. 11th place, Matthias Michelin moving forward. Started 12th, up 1 spot. Keisha Fox ahead of the pole sitter. The front row right here with Ishibashi and Alexander. Both of them dropping back. Obviously not set up for how this race was going to go on the early laps here. Got to do some adjustments in this race. We don't really talk about a lot about in-car adjustments because typically all this stuff happens under caution. We may see green flag pit stops early tonight. Drivers have the ability to make some adjustments in those cars. You've got the weight jacker, which is the right rear spring load offset. That helps kind of determine how much pressure you're putting on that right rear tire. Making it positive, you'll sort of make it squat on that right rear tire. You'll lift it off the left front. If you make it negative, you'll kind of pitch it forward a little bit. You kind of pitch it towards the left front. You'll make it easier on that right rear. The weight jacker has a lot more say in the tire wear on that right rear as well. Use too much weight jacker for too long, that car can get a lot looser, and that's something that's a very delicate balance here at Nashville. As you see just behind Alexander, a battle there between, I believe that is Lecty and Porter, former teammates, former protege and mentor once upon a time. On top of the weight jacker, there are roll bars for the front and the rear of the car. They work opposite of each other, so if you increase one, you'll want to decrease the other. Drivers will have a lot to figure out here in this race. The weight jacker has 40 different settings to it, positive 20 to negative 20. So a lot of different play in that, a lot of different increments in that. The weight jacker, the roll bars, a little more simple. They go from 6 to 1. In pit lane, they can adjust the front wing angle. They can't adjust the rear wing angle, but they can adjust the front wing angle. If they need downforce, they can increase the angle of that front wing to give them a little bit more downforce. Additionally, a lot of drivers here tonight will be wanting what is called a gurney flap or a wicker bill, where it gives them a little bit more downforce, about 100 pounds more downforce, a little lip on the edge of those spoilers to increase the amount of downforce at the front of the car. So pit crews will have to try to adjust. Do they adjust the tire pressures? Do they increase tire pressures at the front or on the right side tires? Do they decrease the left side tires? What's the tire wear looking like? A lot of things these drivers are going to be reporting to their crew chiefs in this opening stanza. It was a hectic practice session on Friday. Even more hectic tonight, now that all 30 cars have been on track together in this race. 2 cars a lap down. Petrovic made an early pit stop, and Lucero has gone a lap down early as well. We'll actually kind of pivot through here. There is Lucero. Lucero a lap down, tagged the wall early on. Valerie Fang now in the lead of this race. Rex Riley's falling back a little bit from Taka Kobayashi. There's Anastasius von Sonnen and Wyatt Jones, who is closing in on that battle for potentially getting into the top 20 here. Kido, Kamaya, Kunikita and Zappa all in this group. That is for 21st what they're trying to get to right now. But Wyatt Jones using his veteran oval experience to try to make his way forward. Dracos gotten passed by Crane, and there is the 21 of Petrovic running early on in this race. Again, tire wear going to be at a premium, and you're seeing some drivers struggle with that already. 2 cars a lap down. 1 car made an early pit stop. Lucero has not. Lucero on the outside lane, trying to just stay out of the way a little bit here. Ample space. Everyone minding their P's and Q's so far in this race. But now the Cat Devil Racing car is beginning to walk their way forward and trying to walk away with this race in hand, as Kurachenko moves to third ahead of Kovalkiewicz, Takani, and Vilicevic. 58 laps, all under green so far here at Nashville. It's Valerie Fang leading the way. Looks like a little bit of trouble here early on. Stepped away. And that is Natalia Vilicevic in trouble. And coming down pit lane. Natalia Vilicevic, that was a sketchy turn of events for the 13 car. But everyone's made it through. And we see that this group has been caught. This little group in the back of the field has been caught by Wyatt Jones and Anastasius von Sonnen as they work on getting closer to the top 20 here. So Wyatt Jones and Anastasius von Sonnen working together on that. Kobayashi and Rex Riley just couldn't get anywhere with that. Front of the field. It's Kinoshita and Valerie Fang. That checkup with Vulicevic kind of separated the rest of the top 10 apart. So Volkevich ahead of Takani, ahead of Kurachenko, and battling. That is with the 2 of Thomas Rogers. BK Glover in 7th. 8th place, Mateus Michelin. 9th place, Artyom Kozlov. 10th place for Cameron Jackson. 11th place is Sakura Ishibashi. 12th place will be Evangeline Porter behind Bianca Lucero, who's a lap down. Keisha Fox in 13th place. 14th for Nicole Lectie, but that is under threat from the lap down car of Marcus Petrovic, who had to make an early pit stop in this race. Petrovic on fresh tires, going to try to make his way through the field here now, but off sequence. Alexander in 15th place. 16th, Esther Hofson. 17th for Simona Leroux. Asher Crane, 19th ahead of Andrew Draco. Asher Crane, we mentioned earlier, had an ankle sprain from the crash last week in Texas. She's nursing that and sitting in 18th spot at the moment ahead of the 2-time world champion. Battle for 19th place has expanded. It is Quito, Kamaya, Kunikita, Zappa, Von Sonnen, and Jones in this battle from 19th to 25th. They've gotten away by 3 seconds over Riley and Kobayashi. Vulicevic has gone 2 laps down. There's Vulicevic now trying to work past and get one of those laps back from the race leader in Hini Kinoshita. Everyone trying to make it to a fuel number right now. Trying to run those tanks dry. Some drivers have not been able to do that so far tonight. Kurachenko's dropped another spot. That is down to Thomas Rogers, showing he's got some long run pace here. Lap 75 of 225 already underway. Every single lap so far has been green as Vulicevic gets clear of the race leader and gets a lap back. Kenosha's first, Fang second. But first round of pit stops still need to occur. What are we going to see in this first round of pit stops when they happen? There's Glover battling with Michelin and Kozlov. 7th, 8th, and 9th. Cameron Jackson dropping down to 10th. Used his tires up early. And now he's feeling it, but he's got some time as Kenosha, the race leader's in. So pit stops happening now for the race leader, as the rest of the field continues to go on by. Porter provisionally into the top 10, but again, pit stops happening. Here comes Kovalevich and Valerie Fang. New race leader, it's Julia Takani. Takani leads now over Thomas Rogers, over Natalia Kurachenko. So the rookie gets some laps out front. But again, pit stops are about to happen here. Not this time from the top 2. Kurachenko does come in though, as will, I believe that was Artyom Kozlov coming in. It was. Michelin battling right now with BK Glover. Doing a decent job so far, but pit stops are coming. Front of the field. Takani still battling with Thomas Rogers. They do not pit this lap either. Jones is in, so is Andrew Draco. And plenty others in this field. Rogers gets ahead. Takani really going to have to relent here. Maybe. Ishibashi on cold tires will force Takani to stay out a lap as Rogers comes in. But Ishibashi really kind of threw things for a wrench there. Takani staying out extra long. Getting some laps led here. Not a bad time right now, and we'll be able to pit free of traffic right now. And in comes Takani. And you'd have to look, where is the race leader that at the time? Where is Kuni Kinoshita? There's Kuni Kinoshita right behind Bianca Lucero. I'll put Lucero a lap down. And there's Valerie Fang in second place. So the two Cat Double racing cars stay close to each other. There is Natalia Vulicevic and Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Vulicevic pit off sequence. Battling still, that is Rogers and Kurachenko. Jackson and the three of Kozlov there. As we browse and peruse throughout the field here. And Wyatt Jones thrown right back into this battle here. Not where he wanted to be on that pit stop. Wyatt Jones back down to 26th position. Battling with Rex Riley, Kake Kobayashi, and Felicia Zappa. Not where he wanted to be at all. His pit stop was not great there on that exchange. Kinoshita and Valerie Fang lead 1-2. Natalia Vulicevic leads Alicia Kovalkiewicz for third place there. Fifth place, Kurachenko. Sixth place, Rogers. Seventh place, Juliet Takani. Then it's Kozlov, Jackson, and Michelin top 10. Pole sitter Sakura Ishibashi sitting in 11th place ahead of Evangeline Porter. The first round of pit stops are done in what is expected to be a 3 pit stop race. Should be pretty quick laps, all things considered. A little further back, we are looking at, I believe, this is Simona Leroux and Astrid Crane. There's Andrew Draco, sort of on his own, still having to get back into the racing physique that you need to compete in these cars. Almost 800 horsepower. No power steering, no ABS, no traction control. Very heavy steering wheels, 1,800-pound cars. Going 200 miles an hour. There's Sakura Nikita behind Junichi Kamaya. 76 of Anastasius Fonsono had a pretty decent pit stop in that exchange. Wyatt Jones struggling big time early on. Not what he wanted to have. And there's the race leaders coming up to put them a lap down. Again, it has been a very quick race, but it also means that this field's spread out, and this allows the race leaders to encounter lap traffic. And that is a lot of lap traffic to deal with. Valerie Fang takes the point. Cat Devil Racing duo under that pit stop got a 4-second gap, but they're going to need all of it to get through this group. Car coming down pit lane, that is Kamaya. Kamaya coming down pit lane. So one of the cars at the back of the field will come down pit lane. Valerie Fang right to the back of Kobayashi. We've seen that it is not difficult to pass. How aggressive does Valerie Fang get with the lap traffic? The answer is a little bit. Trying to get around Kobayashi and trying to chisel away at it. Kenosha gonna let Valerie Fang deal with all the struggle right now. Wyatt Jones next on the list. Not the race that he wanted to have so far. Pit stop set him backwards significantly. Running around the outside. Valerie Fang trying to make something happen here. Wyatt Jones will be defiant in that battle. But ultimately, the outside lane's not going to prevail here on this concrete track. Wyatt Jones holding on. Ultimately, it will be for naught. We're stepping up next for the race leaders. The gap beginning to come down a little bit, but it's taken a lot for the gap to start to come down. Remember, Velisevich on older tires than the race leaders will not be able to gain as much. And that'll be frustrating for the likes of Kovalevich and Kurachenko. Rex Riley up next. Kamaya already off the lead lap. And that'll check everybody up here. We have to look further back. And we'll go for the back. There is... That's the 69 Takani who's come back down pit lane. So Takani had something go wrong on that car to go a lap down. So that's not great for Takani. Kovalevich gets around Velisevich. Fang gets clear of the lap traffic. Kenosha, importantly, does not. Very important moment there. Kenosha has not gotten around this lap traffic at all. I think we're realizing that the Cat Devil Racing cars, they're good, but they're not blisteringly good yet. They're not unstoppable. The longer the Kenosha's behind this group, the worse it's going to get. Valerie Fang's going to keep pulling away a little bit here. Up next, Petrovich. And Petrovich already been a lap down before, set to do it again. He is 23rd on track here behind Sakura Kunikita and Anastasius von Sonnen. Valerie Fang makes it around, pushes Petrovich up wide. Kenosha gets around Wyatt Jones there. Kenosha being a little bit more timid in her approach. Petrovich up next for Kenosha. Bang attacking Sakura Kunikita now. We've crossed the 100 lap mark in this race. We're close to the halfway point. And it has been caution free. As Kenosha attacks Rex Riley. Try to make up time here. Third place right now is Alicia Kovalkiewicz. And you got Natalia Vulicevic, or sorry, not English filling me here, late night here at Nashville. Natalia Kurachenko and Natalia Vulicevic, 4th and 5th. And then you have Thomas Rogers in 6th. 7th place, a little bit further back, is Artyom Kozlov. 8th place for Cameron Jackson. 9th place, Sakura Ishibashi, getting back into the top 10 ahead of Mateus Michelin. Outside the top 10, you're looking at Nicole Lechty, BK Glover, the 81 of Evangeline Porter, then Esther Hofson in the 28, Elise Alexander in 15th, 16th, Simona Leroux, 17th, Keisha Fox, 18th, Astrid Crane. Asada Quito's gotten ahead of Andrew Draco, then Von Sonnen 21st, the last car right now on the lead lap, because there is Valerie Fang ahead of Kunikita, with Kenosha not far behind. Wyatt Jones, a lot of radio chatter right now on the 25 crew. Feels like that car's gone backwards, but he's made inroads, getting around once again. That is Riley and Kobayashi. This is a slow pit stop, put him back there to begin with. He's worked his way back forward. And now sitting in the 23rd position, trying to chase down Kunikita next. Wyatt Jones sitting there in that 23rd spot. There's Kunikita following the leaders at the moment. Kenosha turned on the jets and got through the traffic and staying right on her teammate's tail. At the halfway point at the end of this lap, Valerie Fang leads now over Kenosha, and it is a solid gap, 4 seconds all the way to the 96. There she is, Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Kovalkiewicz pushes Petrovich up. Not taking no for an answer. Through goes Kovalkiewicz, with Kurachenko and Vulicevic coming up next. And Bianca Lucero also in that group as well. Kenosha's pulled right back to her teammate. Let Valerie Fang have an early go at it, and then reeled her right back in. Vulicevic has the fastest lap of this race at the halfway point. Vulicevic, Rogers, and Takani, the top 3 on the fastest lap. You look at our race leaders right now, Valerie Fang 8th on the fastest lap list, with Kenosha only in 17th. So Kenosha's not had the fastest laps, but has had the race pace to back it up. Oh, in trouble! Valerie Fang! Goes the engine! Valerie Fang's car from the race lead is gone. And right in front of Kenosha, that was almost a disaster for the team on the second race in a row. Valerie Fang's race is over. Just past the halfway point, that Honda has expired, and it almost took Kenosha with her. Kenosha did a good job to avoid making that worse, but Valerie Fang will not have a chance to win this race. It is over for Valerie Fang. Who drops to the end of the field, and Kenosha has to relap Sakura Kunikita. And it is an engine failure. Ishibashi and Kenosha now worried about the same problem. That was an engine failure on the 16 car, a piston related issue on the 16 machine. What do you do now as a Honda team? Kunikita now in range of Wyatt Jones. And Takani in range as well. So this is an interesting battle. A lap down here behind the race leader of Kenosha. That is Shinichi Kamaya going on, I think, another lap down. As Kunikita, Jones, and Takani all follow through, as well as Rex Riley. Battle we're following right now is just outside the top 20. Wyatt Jones, actually, this is for 20th place. Kunikita in 20th right now, as things currently run. Incredible battle so far. A very different race than we were expecting this race to be. A lot more passing going on in this race. Takani 2 laps down. This is not a battle for position, but Takani's got the pace to try to go forward. And I think maybe the hope is that Takani will have a chance to throw Kunikita a little bit wide again, so Wyatt Jones can sneak into the top 20. Takani, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Takani's going to have a chance to make it happen, and it will throw Kunikita wide again. So Wyatt Jones will have a really good shot here to make some more inroads on that 23 car. And Kunikita's still going to be wide through 3 and 4. That worked exactly the way Wyatt Jones hoped it would. The battle for 20th and 21st at the moment between Kunikita and Wyatt Jones. We've had one retirement for Valerie Fang, who lost an engine just past the halfway point. And Kenosha's pace is considerably slowed in this exchange. That is Takani chasing down the race leader. Kenosha, I think the message has been sent to the rest of the Cat Devil Racing camp that that engine was not an isolated issue and that there is a significant risk to the 18 and the 17 cars. Kenosha is in trouble. That is 100 laps to nurse that car in that engine. That is a brutal turn of events. And Kenosha's got to nurse it all the way through here because How gutting would it be for the second race in a row to have all of those cars not have a chance to win this race? As quickly as we thought that Catnip Racing were picking up where they left off, we're realizing that that castle may have been built of glass. And that is the scariest thing imaginable if you're a driver. Noshta and Takani. There is this cluster of cars, lap cars, lead lap cars, all in this mix. And lead lap cars intermingling are making this difficult for the lap down cars. Riley, Jones, Petrovich, Kobayashi all in this battle. Kovacevic and Kurichenko trying to get through this battle. Kovacevic now sitting in second place. Kurichenko now in third. Very interesting struggles going on right now throughout the field as everyone tries to, and really fun. They're all in a different race at the moment. That's what makes this so difficult as a driver. There's so much going on. And you're going to be fed so much information in this race. It's so difficult to process it all. Working their way through. That is Kurichenko and Michelin. And I believe Michelin's gone a lap down. I believe he's made a pit stop here at some point. Because Michelin not on the lead lap. He is actually 2 laps down, so he's had an issue at some point to go 2 laps down under green. This has been a crazy turn of events here. Again, all of it's under green. No caution so far in this race. And lap traffic is struggling, especially that of Kurichenko, who is struggling mightily. Kovacevic has made her way through. Michelin making his way through around Kunikita here. Fresh tires for Michelin. An early pit stop for that 60 car. Everyone having to take on a staggered formation here. Everyone's trying something to figure this out. First time back here in 7 years. A different tire, a different car. All of it means a lot when you're trying to learn on the fly. These drivers only had 1 practice session to get things right. And that makes it a lot harder to do. Takani standing behind Kinoshita. Kinoshita chasing down Anastasius von Sonnen. Von Sonnen in 19th place. Kunikita in 20th, a lap down. Von Sonnen really kind of holding up Kenosha, and I don't think Kenosha's under any serious duress to get around Von Sonnen right now. The grave concern right now for Kenosha is that engine failure that happened to Valerie Fang can happen to her. Kenosha getting around Von Sonnen, Takani following through. Next car on that list, you got Kamaya, who's I think wounded. I think he's tagged the wall and he's wounded here at this point. He is well off the pace and laps down. If you look then, the next car in danger of going a lap down will be Andrew Draco. Right there behind Asada Kito. There is Keisha Fox there in 16th place. Asher Crane in 15th. 14th for Alexander. 13th for Simona Leroux. Some lap down cars here. This is Felicia Zappa, who is currently 24th place, a lap down. Esther Hofson in 12th, 11th place. Battling with, I believe that's Glover right now. That is Porter and Glover battling for 10th. Getting around, that is the 88 of Bianca Lucero. Glover in 10th at the moment. Working their way forward. This is a really interesting battle here again as cars trying to work their way through. Rogers and Kozlov making their way through. It's opened up the door for Wyatt Jones to try to make something happen, but again, tires are falling off and they've spent a lot of time in dirty air. Wyatt Jones has had to try to climb his way through multiple times. And that right front's got to be screaming. A humble night for Wyatt Jones, three-time NAMRA Cup Series champion. Would have come in with the most recent experience at this track, coming from the NAMRA Cup Series. But obviously it's not helped a ton in terms of getting the balance of this car set up right. This car is so different. Talk about the NAMRA Cup Series cars, 3,500 pounds. 700 horsepower. These cars 800 horsepower and 1,800 pounds. Obviously completely different tire compounds as well. So he has been having a fit trying to get this all to really calibrate to according to his memory here. And he's going to struggle, I think, if this is an indication, he might struggle a lot at Richmond next weekend. Another track he's going to have a lot of familiarity with, but in the wrong car. See Wyatt Jones there battling right there in front of Kobayashi. As they approach Kamaya here. There's Cameron Jackson. One of the lead lap cars, 8th place and 9th place coming up on this group. Cameron Jackson and Nicole Lecty, they're going to make their way through pretty easily here. Kinoshita continues to lead the way. The pace has been managed by Kinoshita after a teammate fell out of this race with an engine failure. Michelin's gone by, Takani has not. And Draco, the next car to go a lap down if it happens. They're on the same straightaway. But again, Honda's got to be worried at this point. If it is not a unique issue to the Cat Devil Racing team, then that could be a significant problem for all the Hondas in the field. And there's a lot of Hondas in this field. They are the most populated engine manufacturer on the grid. For them to be all under duress now is a genuine concern. But that is where these teams are at right now. And there's a lot that can still pop off here in the next 77 laps. So Kinoshita leads. Glisevic, I believe, a lap down here. Glisevic actually, just got a lap back here in this situation. Very thinned out field here right now. There's Draco, a little bit further ahead. Then there's a Sadakito. Again, very thinned out, very small field right now. There is so much, there's so many variables to this race that Firestone and the series weren't sure of. Do they bring the low downforce kit or the high downforce kit? What kind of tire compound do they bring to this race? Do they bring one that degrades more and has a lot? Do they bring the softer compound or the harder compound? They brought the harder compound tire. They brought the Superspeedway wings and gave it a shot. And it's been an interesting race. Drivers had to wheel it and actually focus on saving their tires and focus on that finesse that we haven't seen very much of on the ovals this season. You haven't seen a whole bunch of it. We didn't see a whole bunch of it at Motegi. We didn't see a whole bunch of it at Texas. We're seeing it in spades tonight. It'll be interesting to see what the teams and drivers think about this race compared to what we've seen at Motegi and what we've seen at Texas. All that's a very interesting sort of dichotomy here. Drivers that handled something completely different so far in this race than what they've seen really all season, including the road courses. Just a completely different challenge. Kenosha raced this race once as a rookie in 2015. Did not do well in that race. So to come back here, essentially on a fresh slate, shows exactly how much both that team and how much Kenosha has grown in this series over the past 7 years. A lot of ebb and flow here in the top 10. Pit stops coming. This will be the last set of pit stops too. They will make it to the end from here. Less than 75 laps to go. They are pitting with 71 to go. That'll be enough to get to the end of the race. How far forward do you want to go in this race? Trying to find a race leader here. A race leader is hard to find. Everyone coming down pit lane here. You find a race leader. There was our race leader, Kovalkiewicz. And Kovalkiewicz comes in and hands the race lead to Sakura Ishibashi. The pole sitter, finally leads a lap on lap 157. Ishibashi leads. Then Rogers. Rex Raleigh comes out of pit lane, and Kenosha comes in. Sorry, Ishibashi comes in. Kenosha already came in and out of pit lane now. Rogers comes in as well. Esther Hobson will come in. Sadakito comes out of pit lane, and trouble for Keisha Fox. One of the Alpines, let's go. Is that an engine or a gearbox failure? That is out of pit lane, and right back in pit lane goes Keisha Fox. So that could be a gearbox failure for that 62 car. And Ishibashi is in, so is Alexander. So where do the leaders cycle through here in this race? It is a gearbox failure for Keisha Fox. Keisha Fox out with a gearbox failure after leaving pit lane, losing the gearbox, and out of this race. Kenosha should re-inherit the race lead here by the time all the pit stops are said and done. See where everyone's at after the second round of pit stops. What is expected to be the last round of pit stops in this race. Elisevich will technically lead this race, but completely off strategy here. Andrew Draco's trying to stay on the lead lap here, that 20 car. has not had an afternoon to remember, but it's been a quiet afternoon. They're just logging laps and learning as much as possible. Kenosha goes around. That is Vulicevic. Kenosha back to the lead. Looking a little further down, I believe Michelin sitting in third place. He is in third place ahead of Kovalkiewicz. And the Alpine teams will have a sigh of relief because they'll know that it wasn't an engine problem on their car. It was a gearbox on Keisha Fox's machine that let go. So Kovalkiewicz will have a little bit of stress having to manage this, but now that we're up to speed, Kovalkiewicz won't have to worry about that too awful much. Gearboxes are not stock. They're not a spec part in this series. Teams can go to different suppliers. As long as they're 6-speed gearboxes, teams can go to different suppliers. So teams can find different suppliers, and obviously that changes the quality of the gearbox per team. And that's what we're seeing so far. So gearbox fair for Keisha Fox really kind of changes things, but Kovalkiewicz looking at Matthias Michelin, that is a second place that Kovalkiewicz wants. And Kovalkiewicz will move Michelin out of the way to get it. Kovalkiewicz up to third on track. When Vulicevic pits, it will be second. Michelin will be in trouble though as well, because Michelin will have to make a pit stop as well as Vulicevic here. So then you start worrying about Artyom Kozlov, the non-binary driver from Russia. Already set history in 2021, becoming the first driver publicly non-binary to win a race in the IndyCar World Championship. Trying to do it again will be a little bit distant on that regard, but going to be in a very hot battle with Kovalkiewicz here shortly. Kurchenko, 6th right now, battling with Ishibashi. That'll end up being a battle for 4th place here in a little bit. There's Takane leaving pit lane. Fresh tires on that 69 car, but cold tires on this first lap. Over for the back, Thomas Rogers, Cameron Jackson. Those two are familiar with battling each other over the past 7 years. Then you have Nicole Lechty, BK Glover in 11th place. Again, they'll move forward when Vulicevic and Michelin come down pit lane. Wyatt Jones right now sitting outside the top 20. He'll end up being in the top 20 here when pit stops occur. He is 21st at the moment, but again, Vulicevic and Michelin need to make a pit stop in this race. So Wyatt Jones, a very quiet race, started this race in 26th. By the time things end up settling here a little bit, he'll end up have gained 6 spots in this race. There's Rex Riley and Akage Kobayashi, and then there's Marcus Petrovic, who is several laps down at the time right now. Petrovic is actually only 1 lap down, so he's actually close. There's Porter, who's on the lead lap. Bianca Lucero's 2 laps down. Yasushi Kamaya there, the 8 car, 7 laps down in this race, just trying to hold on. Felicia Zappa, first race this season, sitting in the 25th spot. Not a great race for her, but it could be so much worse. There is Kenosha taking on Asada Kito. And Kenosha will go by pretty cleanly here. Approaching 50 laps to go. it is not clear sailing just yet for Kuni Kinoshita. Our teammate lost an engine, and Honda have put all of the Honda teams on notice that that is a legitimate risk in this race. For every Honda engine, there is a legitimate risk. And that is a nightmare situation because these engines also have to go. These engines have a chance to be repaired. Because we go to a short oval next week, they've got all these teams have a short oval and a road and a speedway car. So they've got the ability to sort of take these engines out, take them out, go back to the shop, rebuild these engines, and get them ready for the next race. Because the next plate race, the next Superspeedway event is the Indianapolis 500. Like, this is the last time we'll see these engines in these cars until we get to the Brickyard. That's scary. So for Honda engines, they do not want to leave this track with that sense of dread. Obviously, they'll have to take the 16's engine back to Murraysville, Ohio, and sort of diagnose that and see what went wrong and see if they can possibly get all that stuff turned around in time for May. Wyatt Jones staying ahead of Rex Riley. This is one of the hottest rivalries on social media between Lubbock Motorsports and Fortune Racing. Vanta Racing just happy to be along for the ride with both their cars. Kobayashi sitting right now in this battle as well. But this is a battle again, what could be for 20th place once some cars come down pit lane. Again, they're waiting for Volicevic and for Michelin to make their last pit stops. So this could catapult Wyatt Jones really in the 19th place, excuse me, with less than 50 laps to go. Again, it's been a phenomenal race so far. All of it's caution-free. 2 retirements, both for mechanical failures. There's Kinoshita at the front of the field. Volicevic doing a decent job holding in there. Only lost a second so far to the defending world champion. Volicevic once again punching above her pay grade right now and being impressive for Atomic Autosport. Looking a little bit further back, there is the battle for third place between Artyom Kozlov and Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Double checking on lap time, still in Volicevic's favor, 24.8. So Volicevic is putting down some blistering lap times. Rogers and Decani top 3 on the lap time chart. Again, Kenosha's climbed up a couple spots, up to 14th on the fastest lap charts. But it's all about that consistency for the 18, and that 18 has been unmatched in that regard. Captive Racing looking to prove that Texas was a fluke. Reliability-wise, they're showing that there is a little something to be thought about with Captive Racing going into the month of May. But also, that team is legitimately quick. Ishibashi got a slow start in this race, dropped down as low as 16th, but has made her way back up into the top 6. Melissa's trying to get around Andrew Draco there. And Volicevic is keeping it close. Less than a second now. That gap is fluctuating here. And again, Kenosha's having to manage pace. Like, this is not blistering the 100% pace by Kenosha right now. That team's had to turn down that engine a little bit to make sure that it lasts the rest of this event. But even still, Velicevic is holding in there pretty well. It's a good showing by the Slovenian rookie. However, I think a pit stop is in that 13 car's future that's going to take it out of that fight. Likewise, same for Michelin. Michelin 100% has a pit stop to make. There's Michelin right now, who's already dropped down to 10th place, and I think is dropping out of 10th place here very shortly. Yeah, indeed that is the case. He is in 10th place. Porter's in 11th. And then you have Hassan, Alexander next on that list, and then you have Leroux. laps to go, coming to 39 laps to go at Nashville Superspeedway. We've been treated to a spectacle different than what we've seen so far this season. And it has been magical to watch. Kenosha leading this race, but is not a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of concerns in that 18 camp. And Velicevic once again showing what she's got in that 13 car. Velicevic in second place. Again, hoarding station, not a bad job at all. Kozlov and Kovalkiewicz continue to battle it out at the front. Down for third place, last up on the podium as things currently run. 36 laps to go. What a run it's been so far. Artyom Kozlov. Kozlov's been keeping Kenosha honest. Obviously, as things currently run right now, Kenosha will open up a gap there. I believe that was Michelin that just came out of pit lane. So that pit stop has occurred. We have a third retirement of this race, an engine failure, another engine failure for Honda. That is 2 for Honda now out of this race. HPD, the American arm of Honda, issued the warning that there was a fault with the Honda engines right now that they had to manage. And a second one just bit the dust. Cameron Jackson out of this race from the top 10. As we were talking about with Artyom Kozlov trying to keep the points leader honest in this race. Kenosha entered this race with a 12-point advantage. As things stand, that advantage will expand by at least 15 points. A rough go of it so far. Kovalkiewicz looking for a way around. Wants to spoil the party for Kozlov. You see at the bottom of your screen the point standings for the top 5 in the World Championship. Kenosha leads, the defending world champion, trying to go back-to-back and be the first driver to do so since the 2010 and 2011 seasons. And perusing throughout the field, there's the race leader in CUNY Kenosha. Natalia Vulisevich sitting in second place, staying within a second and a half of the race leader. Artem Kozlov battling in third with Alicia Kovalkiewicz. Battle for fifth, heating up here between Ishibashi, Kurichenko, Ishibashi has the advantage there. And actually, Kurichenko going to get forced 3 wide by lap cars, and including her teammate there in Michelin, who went a lap down for a late pit stop. Cars attacking the aid of Kamaya, trying to get around him. You see there is Nicole Lecty sitting behind Thomas Rodgers and Juliet Takani. There's BK Glover in 9th place, hoping to have a good finish to this race with 27 laps to go. Evangeline Porter, top 10 ahead of some of the lap traffic coming up. Lisa Alexander in 11th place ahead of Esther Hofson. Then you have Simona Leroux and Astrid Crane. Last cars on the lead lap, and then you start dissecting some of the lap down cars in this race. Andrew Draco, the first car, 1 lap down in 15th place ahead of Asada Kito with 26 laps to go. There's Felicia Zappa, who is several laps down at this point. 2 laps down. First car 2 laps down for Felicia Zappa at this point in time. Matthias Michelin went a lap down, had to make a pit stop, went 2 laps down in that process, trying to get a lap back here as it stands. Anastasia von Sonnen a lap down. You start looking at some other cars in this field. Takani's 2 laps down. There is Kunikita in 18th place. 19th place is Jones. And then you have Rex Riley. Battle for 19th place going on right now. Some battles are over the track. All eyes on Kinoshita, who has had a phenomenal race. Twenty laps to go. And Vulisevich beginning to make people believe that this is a legit finishing position for that 13 camp. And this is the Gagla cars here in this order. Petrick trying to work his way forward. He's gotten around Alexander. Petra just falling off to this battle for 19th place between Jones and Riley. Porter's pulled away. So Wyatt Jones, really not a lot of draft now to rely on. The drive a little bit more defensively here in this fight. There's Kunikita in 18th place. As the laps continue to tick down. Third place and fourth place right here, and Kozlov and Kovalkiewicz. Battling for third place here still. Michelin trying to get a lap back here. And again, it's just a lot of spread out chaos. As we look throughout this track here again, located in Lebanon, Tennessee. It's the peruse through how busy this track is. Down the back straightaway, into turns 3 and 4. Draco and Keto battling for top 15 honors. Behind the race leader, Kuni Kinoshita. In the final 15 laps of this race. I think Velicevic has to be careful if she's trying to make it to the end of the race here, because Kozlov and Kovalkiewicz are making their way forward quickly, trying to catch up to make this a three-way fight for the podium. Yeah, I think Velicevic's tires are beginning to fall off pretty badly here. Very interesting battle here with 11 laps to go. The gap is now less than 2 seconds. This could be a chance for a last charge at a podium, at an increased podium at that. For Kozlov, this is a big deal. That'll reduce the damage done from 17 points to 12. Likewise, Kovalkiewicz looking for a podium. Coming to 9 laps to go. Gap is 1.5 seconds. Cars coming down pit lane. That was Glover in pit lane. Is there a splash and dash needed for some? That's going to put a wrinkle in things. If Glover's not safe, then Velicevic can't be safe because Velicevic was one of the first ones to pit. This will be an interesting sort of dilemma to see how this unfolds. Gap stabilized between first and third. Second slowing down a little bit. There's Velicevic in second. Kozlov third, Kovalkiewicz fourth. Everyone's still full bore at the moment, with 7 laps to go. And there is Ishibashi, not far away either. Glover, fuel only on that stop. You see the massive gaggle of cars there as we peruse through the field with 6 laps to go. Wyatt Jones now in a battle here. He's gotten around Kunikita. So they've all been fighting here. And now there's a crunch to try to see if they've got enough fuel to make it these next 5 laps. And remember, for the lap time cars, it could be a little bit easier because their numbers are going to be +1. They are a lap to the good based on the fact that they are not on the lead lap right now compared to the race leaders. This could be easier for them than it was for the race leaders right now. Because right now, this is a battle for the 17th spot. They are sitting pretty well with 4 laps to go in this race. They're ahead. That is Elise Alexander now in the top 10. That is 10th place Alexander at the moment. Not a bad spot so far. Michelin getting around. That is Kenosha there. So that puts Michelin 1 lap down in this race. Coming to 2 laps to go. Had to be a lot of conservation here for Kenosha. And that may have helped her out a lot. There's Felicevich in pit lane. We figured Felicevich could not make it. That was correct. A couple laps shy on the fuel number. Now that means a lot of cars breathing heavy. Two laps to go. Coming to the white flag lap. 1 lap to go for Kenosha. Looking for her 3rd win on the season. Kicking off the season where she left off last year. Career win number 15. Kenosha wins at Nashville. Kozlov 2nd, Kovalkiewicz 3rd. Frantic stuff coming to the start-finish line. Wyatt Jones, 3-time NAMR Cup Series champion, finishes in 17th place. Rex Riley in the 16th, in the 17th, in the 18th position, excuse me. They both got ahead of Kunikita there at the end, who was in max fuel save. Kunikita 19th, 20th for Kage Kobayashi. But for Kenosha, what a drive. 15 wins now for Kenosha. Smart driving there by Kenosha, having the saving serve here. Artyom Kozlov did what she could. It's just a phenomenal drive for Kozlov. Kozlov and Kovalkiewicz 2nd and 3rd. For Kozlov, he gave it everything against Kovalkiewicz and came out on top of that and had to rely a little bit on strategy there with Felicevich having to stop for a top off of fuel. Sakura Ishibashi, her best finish of the season, a 4th place tonight here at Nashville after starting on pole for the 3rd time this season. Finally got to lead some laps in that regard as well. Ishibashi finished ahead of Kurachenko with Lechty, Rogers, Porter, Alexander, and Leroux rounding out the top 10. Asher Crane, 11th place, battling with a sprained ankle from Texas a week ago. Ended up just outside the top 10. Not a bad result, though, for the 80 car after what has been a very frantic couple weeks. Esther Hobson, last car on the lap in 12th. Then you look at the cars 1 lap down here. No cautions in this race at all whatsoever. Asada Kita, 13th. Andrew Draco, 14th. 15th for Anastasia Sponsonen. 16th for the 13 car of Natalia Vulicevic, who was sitting most of this race in the podium places, just couldn't save enough fuel. Wyatt Jones in 17th, 18th Rex Riley, 19th for Sakura Kunikita, 20th for Kage Kobayashi. Matthias Michelin, 21st, not the race he wanted to have here in his return to Nashville. Then you look at cars 2 laps down, BK Glover, 22nd, 23rd, Giulia Taccani, 24th for Felicia Zappa, 25th for Bianca Lucero, 26th for Marcus Petrovic, 27th, last car running, is Sunichi Kamaya in the 10-lap down territory. 3 cars did not finish this race. 2 Hondas for engine failures, Cameron Jackson and Valerie Fang. Keisha Fox in the middle for a gearbox failure after the second round of pit stops in tonight's race. That'll do it for us here in Nashville. A phenomenal race. Very phenomenal race here in Tennessee. We head to Virginia here next week. Another race under the lights at Richmond Raceway. The road to the 110th Indianapolis 500 continues next weekend. Short oval racing at Richmond. On behalf of everyone here for ABN Studios, and our coverage of the AT&T Champ Car World Series season, we wish you so long from Tennessee. Stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun in the week ahead. We'll see you at Richmond here very soon. So long, everybody.